A couple of months ago, I spent my week behind the wheel of the Honda Civic Touring, and after driving that, I absolutely had to get my hands on this 2024 Honda Civic Si. Now, we already covered the Civic Si on a full tour with Victor, so I'm not going to do that, but my angle is very special since I have a combined total experience of 5 weeks driving a manual transmission every day. I feel like I have a good beginner's perspective. So I'm gonna take it on the road today and tell you all about it. So in case this is your first video you're seeing for us, let me run you through the specs. Under the hood, I have a 1.5 liter turbocharged inline-4 engine. Now that engine is giving me 200 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque. Of course, it is standard. It's the only way you can get it with a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, another special thing for the Civic Si is I have a helical front limited slip differential, which is going to help cornering, and I'll talk about more of that when we take it on the drive. So with all the specs and numbers out of the way, let's take this thing on the road. Alrighty, so on the road now with the 2024 Honda Civic Si. So really quick, I just want to talk about the exterior looks. I think it looks really good. I've got like the version that's in all black, right? So I've got black rims, black body, everything, but it looks really cool with the red interior. I like the front. I like the little spoiler we have on the back too. The exhaust noise isn't great because there isn't a lot of like big exhaust, but it definitely is better than the Civic Touring. If you're looking for something more fun than the Civic Touring, I think the Civic Si is the way to go. And also it's like really affordable too. Like, you know, the Touring I think is a little bit less expensive, but still the Civic Si is unmatched, unbeatable fun. So overall, exterior-wise, I think it looks pretty good, even in all black, although I'd probably choose a nicer color or like a more poppy color because it's more sporty car, right? Speaking of a sporty car, 6-speed manual transmission, let's give it some beams. Woo. Whee. Oh boy. So there is a little bit of rev hang when you do that. So when you're kind of really getting on it, and if, like, I'm not a perfect manual driver, I'm not a daily manual driver. So I'm able to get on it and still have a lot of fun, which I think is a very important aspect of the Civic Si, but it does have rev hang. Like, and even I notice it at my amateur level of manual driving. It is pretty noticeable, but still a ton of fun either way. Sport mode is pretty much the only way to drive this thing in. Like, I love to drive this thing in sport mode. I think that that is the most fun. You can also have an individual, but honestly, I don't see a point to it because of the fact that, you know, it's all the same thing. Like, I could really only, there's no eco mode or anything. It's either normal or sport. There is absolutely no in between here. I've also got like little convenience features like lane centering assist, where much like the Hyundais, I can turn this on and then I have a corner coming up and it's gonna do it for me, but I'm gonna turn it off because I like to do the corners myself, because the handling in the Civic Si, I remember bragging about how good the Civic Touring's handling was. The Si is a jump above that. I am so confident in this steering wheel. It's so nice in my hands as well. Really, really solid handling, and it's just been really, really good paired with this 6-speed manual transmission. So let's talk about how easy it is to use as a beginner. Like I said, I've got 5 weeks in my entire life of driving manual every day. That's it, because I only drive manuals when I have press cars. It's really rare that I'll drive one outside of that realm. So in terms of the Civic Si, it is probably one of the top ones I'd probably recommend to a beginner. If you came to me and asked me what's the best one, I'd probably say either Acura, which is also a Honda product, or the Civic Si are very good, because the clutch pedal is really easy to feel. I think the engagement point, especially on mine, is like about in the middle, so I could tell when things are moving. It also has rev match downshifting, which I believe helps me a little bit on startups. I feel like sometimes if I'm a bit weak, it does adjust the revs a little bit, or if I shift too early, even up a gear, the rev match kind of does kick in. Also, you feel like an absolute hero when you're going down through the gears. The rev match system is so good. So I'm coming up to a stop here. Let me show you what I mean. I'm currently in 4th gear. I'm going to go to 3rd. Probably can't hear that. It's probably a little bit too low. But if I do this in 2nd really early, ooh, I don't know if you'll hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's definitely happening. And I'm able to decelerate the car really quickly. And that's really fun because heel toe downshifting is not something that I've mastered yet. And so when you want to be sporty and brief interruption to absolutely pull in second gear. Holy moly. That little beep you heard was actually the car telling me, you better shift, buddy, because you're going to bang off the rev limiter. So yeah, we also get the cool shift lights here in Canada. Ha! I don't know if the US has it, but Canada does, and oh boy. But yeah, so really solid. Like, it's just so easy to operate and use. I feel like an absolute hero. It's as if I've been driving manual for way longer than I actually have. I've not stalled at all this week, which is, you know, not really normal. Sometimes I will stall the manuals. Like, so if you compare this to something like a Subaru WRX, which obviously has more horsepower than this, stuff like that, but when you compare the manual, the way that the manual operates, right? No rev match downshifting. It's a little bit of like a more of like a luggy kind of manual transmission. That's the best way I could describe it. The Honda Civic has that beat. Like, just transmission wise, a Subaru WRX with a Honda transmission, what a pairing. I think that would be really cool. I just think that Subaru could maybe benefit from a rev match downshift system. It just takes the edge off of having to downshift. I mean, you'd be able to drive it a little bit more sporty. Now, a lot of people could drive without rev match downshifting. I'm just a fan of it. I just like it. I think it allows people who aren't necessarily daily manual drivers to actually get into driving manuals and then work your way up to turning off the rev match downshift. I'm a fan of it. Don't hate it. You can hate on me for using it, but I honestly don't care because I really like it. So let's talk about comfort on these Quebec roads. I honestly thought that my ride quality would be a lot worse than it is. I'm not feeling the bumps that much, and I'm always driving this thing in sport mode. I'm doing 7.6 liters per 100 kilometers, which is also impressive, but always, all the time in sport mode. It's just not fun to drive in any other way. The Civic Si deserves to be driven in sport mode. And I'm still getting great fuel economy, and my comfort is still really good. I thought I would be bouncing around a lot more. I thought it would be a lot more uncomfortable, but I think these SI seats really help it along and help it be able to, be able to absorb some more bumps. Because I don't know how much the suspension is really doing, but I think the seats help a lot. They hold you really well. They're a firm grip, and it's just like, it adds like the sporty feel. You may only have 200 horsepower, but when your seats feel really nice, it feels like you got a bit more. Seats add horsepower? Who knows? So really quick, I'll touch on the interior. Everything's pretty much the same as you saw on the Civic Touring. I got wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, dual zone automatic climate control. In Canada, we get 3 levels of heated seats in the front and in the rear, and also we have heated steering, which is fantastic. I think Canada might have the best version of the Honda Civic Si, which is super rare, and I am all here for it. If you live in Canada, the Civic Si is the way to go, especially if you can't afford like the Type R. Type R is fantastic. I will try to get my hands on it because I've at this point driven almost every trim level of the Civic. So I'm going to try to get my hands on it, but still, if you don't have enough money, you don't need it. You can like put little modifications on your Si. There's so much that can be done with this thing, and it's already such a great baseline to start on. I find it hard to say anything. The price point's competitive. I find it hard to say anything negative about it, other than your legs are going to get tired in manual. When you're manual traffic driving in Montreal here, it's a little bit of a job, but it's worth it when you get to just row through the gears and absolutely rip this thing. It's fun. It's so much fun. Like nice day out like I have now, summer, warm weather, and a Civic Si. Can't really go wrong. So, in the purpose of not making this video too long, because like I said, we already covered the Civic Si in a lot of detail. If you're interested in that video, it will, I'm sure, be linked somewhere here, and you can go watch that. If not, you can press subscribe right now, hit the bell notification, because YouTube is absolute garbage at sending out notifications when we post, or we're putting it in your subscription feed. Don't count on them to show you the new video. You got to take the action and actually press the bell. It helps us more than you know, because the more subscribers that we have and the more views that we can generate gives us more opportunities. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments of the Civic Si. With that being said, I will see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.